and put in for the machine. If you want to be a next week's draw, you got to order again.
That's right. Okay.
So you can tell them all that.
Yeah, I can let him know.
Because you can deliver that kind of news with such a sweet face.
Yeah, right. Especially with my having math on.
Okay. I'm getting green across the board. Let us know how this sounds, guys. I've been trying to change the audio so it is a bit louder. And hopefully it's working.
Oh, there's the chat coming up.
Hi, Adrian.
That's probably such an old joke for poor Adrian.
I know.
But we're going to do it anyway.
That's right. Poor Adrian.
Squeeze in, Sandy. Get in the picture.
Oh, there I am.
Oh my
Apparently, Tyler didn't want to see your face.
I know. There's something.
Oh, thanks,
about
Tina. Debbie said it sounds okay.
Okay. Hi, Deb. Hi,
A bit
Tina.
louder, but it might also help with the white noise.
Hi, Sandy. Hi, Carol. Hi, Judy. Judy's giving us a thumbs up.
Okay.
Perfect.
Ooh.
Yay.
Look at that one. Oh, that one's not time delayed today. Slightly, but not much.
Yeah. Once you're used to the system, I'm going to
Okay.
keep changing it so you never know what's going on.
Okay. Every once in a while I look over there and went, oh, did I really just do that?
Yeah, I told Tyler as long as my job doesn't change, he can monkey with the system. Oh, Adrian says there's a little hiss. Thank you. Adrian, are you hissing in the background? Spelling's important. Maybe I sprung a leak.
I don't hear one.
I don't think it's our air conditioner, but you never know.
Hey.
Well, thank you all for being our auditory guinea pigs. The air conditioning's pretty low grade sound, though.
Yeah.
Tyler,
I'm betting a lot of it just comes from me trying to boost the mic so that it's nice and loud.
I can shout. Can you shout?
Okay, I can do that.
We need to project so
Yes.
that all our people can hear us.
How's that sound?
And then I'll take my mask off when I'm alone.
Do you want
Hello, Linda.
you want me to come back at the end or
No.
Never leave.
never leave? Okay.
You can stay. You can give me a neck rub while I sew. It'll be
Okay.
good. Ooh,
All right.
who knew? Now Sandy's my favorite.
Yeah. Did you figure that out, guys? I'm the favorite.
But don't tell anyone
Nope,
else.
don't tell anybody else. I am the favorite. Yeah, you need a
Alrighty.
good body massage. there.
Well,
Okay, well, that's the best we'll get for today.
all right. Well, if you don't like it when you go upstairs to listen in, come running back down. We'll be right here waiting for you.
Run upstairs.
Did you memorize those? No.
Not memorized. Had to
Okay.
use my paper, but
Sandy kindly agreed to do notes today. So
yeah. Our Leah is away today. She's headed home after teaching this morning. So hi everybody and welcome to Freaky Friday. Anne said I could tell you a joke.
yeah.
So there was this vulture buzzard. He got invited to a cocktail party and he shows up in his swanky velvet smoking jacket and he's holding a glass of wine and he's totally enjoying himself. And a young lady walks up and offers him a tray of appetizers. And he responds, No, thank you. I had something on the road earlier. Anyways, Freaky Friday. If you didn't think Wacky Wednesday was bad, here's Freaky Friday. So do we want to do announcements now or at the end? Okay.
No, you go ahead.
All right. So just a few announcements. Just a reminder that on Monday, June 14th at 10 a.m., Miss Anne is going to be squeezing the day. Actually, it's squeeze the day. It's the OESD Stitch Party. So if you haven't got your registration in there and your things, you've got till Saturday at 6 o'clock. So give us a call if you want to get into that wonderful squeeze the day OESD Stitch Party.
Fancy embroidery placement.
Oh, very pretty. It's very pretty. All right. So the next thing is on the same day, Monday, June 14th, Yo Adrian will be doing embroidery on anything, embroidery on knits this time. And that's going to run from 2 to 3. So if you're planning on doing Monday, you've got a whole day of excitement for you.
Monday will be a good day.
It will be awesome. All right, and then we're going to go further in that week, and on Friday, June 18th, we have our Bernina Creative Studios project, and this project this week is the Big Bag, and that will run from 10 till 1.
Did you just call me a big bag?
Sorry. Shh. Don't tell anybody.
We're making a big
You're
bag.
making a big bag.
Okay, the big bag's making
Yeah,
a big bag.
All right, and then on Saturday, June 19th, it's the Bernina Creative Studio software. This time it goes from 10 to 1, and it's choosing art. And I think Leah's doing that one.
Yeah.
Leah's teaching that one. All right, and then we're going to skip down just a little bit because I want to remind you about those lovely pineapple applique things that we as staff had done with Anne. She's got that class coming up, and it's going to be loads of fun. It's Wednesday, June 23rd and June 30th. It goes from 1 to 4, and that's the Pineapple Gnome Applique. It's $99 plus tax for the class, but that includes Anne and your tea towel or your quilt kit. And my goodness, that little gnome is just the hottest ticket right now. So you got to join her. And then after those 2 days, of course, we'll do a little bit of a Wacky Wednesday. I'll be on to do a little yak schmack if you guys can hang in there after going from 1 to 4 that day. All right. Next, coming up after that on the Friday, June 25th, it's the Kimberbell a la cartes. The first one's going from 10 to 11, and it's Sweet Feet. And the second one is from 11 to 12, and it's Dimensional.
Mylar.
Yeah, Mylar. I must have missed a letter off that one. Dimensional Mylar, and they're really cute, and it's so sparkly with the Mylar behind it. So that's the Kimberbells. Now, the next thing I just want to tell you about is there's the new Kimberbell a la carte starting up on July 30th. That has 12 classes plus a bonus, and the first 2 going on that Friday are the Modern Zipper Patchwork Pouch from 10 to 11:30, sorry, and the Grateful Heart Composition Cover from 11:30 to 1. But if you sign up and do all 12, you get a bonus one. All right, so
Baker's dozen,
Baker's dozen,
which is 13.
That's right. She's good. Good. All right. And the other thing I just wanted to remind everybody about is that next week's going to be a really big, fun week for everybody. It's the CQA happening, and that is June 16th to the 19th, and it's 4 days of delight. And it doesn't cost much. It's only $10 to register. It's a big virtual convention. And of course, my sewing room is there. We have a booth. We are represented. And Leah, Barb, I don't know who else is teaching, but they're going to be there teaching lots of fun stuff all day long for 4 days. So that will be awesome. Anyways, get yourself enrolled for that. So those are the big announcements. And I think when would you like to do the big weekly draw for the Brother NQ575?
Well, you could do it now.
I could do it now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could make you do it at the end, and they'd have to stay on and watch through all my stuff till the end. But
that's a good
it's
idea.
fine.
No? Okay.
We can do it now.
All right.
Okay, you
All right.
grab that bucket.
I just want to remind everybody that in order to get into the weekly draw and to the big finale for the Brother NQ575, it is an online order only. So you place your order online, and it must be $50 or more before we start adding on that goofy tax or shipping or anything like that. Okay, so it has to be $50. This contest is running all the way through the summer. We end August 31st, and each week we will be taking whoever entered that week with an order. We'll be drawing, and then they're going to go into the final big draw box for the big machine at the end. But in order to get as many names as possible in there, you have to make as many orders as possible. And each week, you get drawn from here. Whoever wins goes back in here, and they go in there. But if you want to have more, you order every week, and then you get into the weekly draws every week. All right, so here we go. Is Tyler drawing?
Tyler's doing stuff, sorry.
Oh, Tyler's busy.
I'll hold the bucket.
Okay, okay, here it is.
You
Here it
put
is.
your little hand
Okay,
in that
put my little
hole.
hand in, and I am going to just close my eyes and ruffle the tickets and pick one out, and let's see. Here you go, Anne.
All right, let's see.
Oh my God, you're kidding me.
Oh, good pull. Let's not tell her.
Okay, let's just keep it to ourselves, and we won't do anything.
I don't know if we've seen her yet
Is she on
in
there?
the chat. I don't know.
Oh,
But she's a let's hint.
it's hint. She's a regular.
Very regular.
Yep, she always gives me lots of kudos and shaky paw hands on her, I don't know what you call them, little meme things that she sends
memes,
me.
yeah.
And she's always supportive, and she was just in here this week, and her first name starts with an L, and her last name starts with an L. Is she on there? I don't know if
She's
there.
married to a really weird guy, though.
Yeah, some guy named Neil or something. I don't know. He wanted my chef's hat the other day, didn't he?
I know.
Yeah,
right?
I can't believe it. He really wanted to take
And
my
he
chef's
cost
hat.
me a lot of money in manicures.
Yeah.
So if you haven't guessed yet, it's Loanne Lewis has won this week's gift bag.
And we will have that gift bag up at the front for you, Loanne, and you can pick it up anytime you'd like. And congratulations. Okay.
Let me put it on the side where it won't damage the bag.
All right. Super duper. All right. Thank you ever so much, everybody. I'm just going to set this back down here, and I'll collect this up later. All right. Excellent. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me on Freaky Friday today, Anne. Thanks very much.
Like I said, you're freaky on Friday.
That's right. All right.
Thanks, Sandy.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ah, she's always so good. Oh, yeah, you guys. So get your online orders. I know that Loanne has been doing her orders online and then doing curbside pickup, which is an option. Or you can have them delivered to your home. The draw is open to Canadian residents, not including Quebec. So I'm mostly alone, and Tyler's way over there playing with the equipment. So every day he tries to make this a better event for you. So this week we're going to talk about foot number 7, which is commonly referred to now as the fringe foot. But early days, it was the tailor tack foot. So if any of you took home ec a few years back, and we were taught how to tailor tack our patterns, you know that typically it was a big cross stitch, and you'd pull it apart and snip it in the middle, and then that would give you the start of a dart or the sides of a dart, and you would match those up. And then for good or bad, they came out with the wheels and chalk paper. And sometimes the chalk paper left color in your beautiful fabric, and so all was lost right after that. It never washed out. So the tailor tack foot's been around for a very long time, and I do know that it's available in a few other brands. So they may call it tailor tack, they may call it the fringe foot. So check your stores for those items. And I'm going to show a few things. Of course, The techniques that I'm going to share with you actually come out of the Big Book of Feet. So, great book, good value. Adrian did, for those of you who had joined us in Adrian's class, she had also worked through it and mentioned it. Now, let's go here. So, number 7, tailor tack foot. Interesting. Different looking on the bottom. Has a big, wide space. And it looks a bit like our new D feet with a hole in the back, but this is not a D foot. That hole is to allow the fringe to pass through from front to back. So I'm going to put that on. I've already told my machine what foot's on there. Dawn kindly gave me some funky pieces of fabric that I could use. Typically, the techniques that I'm going to show you would look great on linen or denim or similar items. And we may, you know, just enjoy the techniques on clothing. So, couple basic things. You need a wider satin stitch that's going to clear the blade in the middle here. Maybe I'll just pop that off again for a second and let you see in profile how high that is. I didn't, at my first time with this, I had no idea that my needle actually lifted as high as that blade is, but that rides right up the center and we're going to zigzag right on over it. So we've got a sort of satin stitch setting for length, like a 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. And I've gone with a 5.5 width. And we're going to give that a whiz.
Putting the land back into the drawer.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So even if you win the weekly draw, you get put back in the box for the machine draw. But each week, the draw box is cleared for the next week. So if you want multiple chances, get multiple orders in. You know you want to. Oh, Debbie, I am unsure about your question. Alrighty. So, just simple. You could put a knot on there, but I'm not going to for this bit here. And for all intents and purposes, some of these techniques require that you use the same thread, top and bottom, and some require a different color thread in the bottom. So we'll talk about those this week up. So some of the fun things, we're going to just riff this off a little. No particular project in mind today. So the important thing is those stitches are still on that blade, so you have to pull straight out the back to get them off. And there, look at that. So you can see the height. There's a nice tunnel of stitches. I've got the same thread right now, top and bottom. So it's a little hard to tell where things are. Oh, and I did loosen the upper tension a little bit. So one of the things I've seen over the years is just texture. This could be cute as, oh, say, lion fringe on a kid's pillow. I just put my open toe applique foot on there. I'm going to change my stitch to straight on. Just straight stitch, nothing fancy, same as we always do. My machine would like to know what foot I'm using, so I'll let it know. And things will go better. So we can just simply stitch through the middle of that. This fringy stuff, this loose bit, it's quite loose. So can create a little kind of texture on a project. So if you're a thread painter quilt artist, you might find many different uses for this particular foot. So right now I'm just making some funky texture. So this will hold. It's kind of got a little bit of looseness. You can comb it so it stands up a little, but simply texture. So you can make fun hair. Because it's such a loose stitch and I've loosened off the tension quite a bit, it would pull out if you just left it on its own. So often it needs some sort of tacking. So one of the other fun things that's often shown is, just an FYI, in your package, when you buy the foot, there's instructions in there on how to do the good old-fashioned tailor tack, but nothing is mentioned in the package of the fun. So that little slip of paper in there has the instructions for making the tailor tack. So it's still useful for its intended intended technique. Now, I'm going to go back and put the fringe foot back on and let my machine know. It's always happiest if I tell her what we're up to today. And I'll go back to that zigzag I had set up earlier. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, I've seen in a couple different ways over the years. I've been sewing on my Bernina for a very long time, and different teachers have different techniques. So some of them will have this edge here finished. And this is a slightly heavier piece of sort of a red canvasy denim. So this one, put a little hem in it as well. And some people just will butt this up, line it up, and we're going to stitch the two pieces together. So bear with me, this is real time. If real time feels like a waste of time for you, Tyler does an amazing job of editing our videos, and those videos can be found, the edited instructional version, on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't been there yet, do get there, do take a look, do like, do subscribe, join us. You get a notification every time we drop a new video. Alrighty, so we'll get to the end there. And again, straight off the back. Now we've got that lovely tunnel. You can see the height of it there. And then typically what we're going to do here is just kind of wiggle this apart. And this will mimic what was known as drawn thread work way back when, or early on. Common name for that was faggoting. And what the dictionary, Old World Dictionary, you remember those when people used to look up stuff instead of making up stuff? This is a faggot was a small bundle of sticks. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm going to just wiggle that out a little bit, make sure it's nice and flat. And up on my machine here, I picked a triple stitch. And what we're going to do is center that open work. And then we're just going to stitch in the middle. Oh, sorry. My machine's said you lied to me. I did lie to it. I told it I put a D foot on, but I put a C foot on. So I'm going to use that mark in the center there. Keep these centered between these two toes. Often people aren't sure where to look when they're sewing, and then they have trouble sewing straight. So, just to be sure that there's no fabric caught under there, and I'm only playing with those thread stitches. Just going to hold that apart a little bit of tension left to right with my fingers. All right. So that part is done. And look at that. Little bundles of sticks. Somebody referred to it also as a butterfly once. It kind of does look like that. Isn't that lovely? So, and often you see this open work on linen. You'd see, I have a pair of pants at home that the leg is like this, and then the hem is attached like that. So what they actually did was finished off the bottom nicely, and the pant hem hung like that. They're quite sweet. I'll have to dig them up and wear them one day, show you. So, oh dang, sorry. Gave you a little ride, free ride, roller coaster. So some of the things that have been done, this is lovely on its own, and if you're kind of a more traditional dresser and you want to use that on a hem as a detail, it'd be fun. If you want to use it on a table runner, it'd be lovely. Now we're gonna, we're gonna gussy it up. I'm gonna put my open toe 20D foot on. Let the machine know what foot I'm working with. Then I'm going to go into my decorative stitch menu, and I'm going to look for an interesting stitch to run along the edges. Now, sometimes if they have a flat side and then a scallop side or something along those lines, those are the kind of ones that work really well in this. The straight edge on those stitches is going to anchor this in even a little more, and it gives you somewhere to work off of. Oh my gosh. Sorry, you guys, I'm totally lost in all my fancy stitches. They make me so happy and excited, but I'll get lost in here choosing. Oh, what should I pick? There's too many. There's too many. Okay. Enough monkey business. I'm gonna pick this one. I'm feeling in a graphic kind of mood. So, interesting things up on my screen. I can see where the bottom of that stitch is going to be, and I'm going to just set my foot right there, and where I'm going to be looking is right at the tip of this toe, and I'm aiming for the tip of that toe to run up the edge of that stitching. And let's just play with this stitch. It's going to be a bit blendy because I'm putting orange on red. But all we want to do is hold this steady, don't oversteer, let the machine do the work. So normally we would do the same stitch on the top as the bottom, or the left and the right. However, you see this. I'm going to select pattern end. So when I get to the end of the design, it will just stop on its own. There we go. And interestingly enough, it stopped right where I stopped. Alrighty. Okay, so very subtle, but it's kind of like a skyline. The tricky bit will be if you want this to start in exactly the same spot on this side, you would chalk a line across. I'm just going to eyeball it. And maybe just for fun, because we can, I may pick us a different stitch. I know, I got lost last time and barely came back. But you know, that stitch went remarkably fast. I'm going to pick another one that's got a flat side and sort of a towering design. But it's a little more intense. It might show a little better. And hopefully you agree with me and you like it. Now remember what I always say, there's those of us who test and those of us who wish we had. So you want to check this out with the fabric you have, the colors you picked, and make sure that you have what you want before you put hours of your precious time into a project where you suddenly say, oh, I don't really like that. It's awful to put it in the bin at the end of the day. So end of repeat there. I did a couple repeats. I just want you to see. You can decide whether it's a pattern that you would like. Spare thread there. But it's kind of a cross stitch feel. And certainly holds a lot more volume than that first one. But wouldn't that be snazzy? And I'm just gonna put a pair of them on this other side here. And I'm gonna match them up just quickly visually. You think there's so much impact when you have one on each side. And you could get some beautiful trims and braids. Some great details on the front of a jacket or on a hemline. This could be a peekaboo block, and behind there you'd put a different color. So you put the pattern end on. Remind me to stop. Oh, Adrian, I'm glad. Look at the impact that would have. Whether visually it spends its life this way or this way. Maybe you just need a beautiful piece of trim for something. What if you were to finish those edges? And then that could wrap around on something. It could be a ribbon. Could finish this into a decorative cuff. Make my own fabric jewelry. But I quite like that. So part of the charm is that open work. So try not to block that when you're finishing this piece. So that's an interesting one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Now there's another one, and it's often done on the edge of your fabric. So you'll want to finish your edge somehow. So again, I'm just going to fold that back. If you're using a fabric that's a little soft, unlike this denim, which actually with the 2 layers there, had enough stability to take the weight of all of this without buckling. If you have a fabric that's softer, say you want to put this on a softer fabric, you can slip a piece of interfacing inside that hem, or a bit of stabilizer that's might stay in, might be removed later. So that original piece we did earlier, we're going to just kind of repeat that right now. Go back to my number 7 foot for this part. Be sure to tell my machine the truth. I know what foot I'm using. Certainly not smarter than me, but it needs to be fully informed or it doesn't want to do what I want to do. So, again, with that large zigzag. Now this is where you might find it a little handier to have two different colors, but I'm not going to take the time to switch out. It's Friday. We have places to go, patios to sit on, adult beverages to enjoy. So we're just going to do that same overlapping zigzag. I think I might have a catch up in the bottom tail. Yeah, there we go. Some days doesn't go according to plan, but that's where new inventions came from. So to just tweak that a little bit. And we're going to do it with that 1 inch. So what I'm looking for here, this is why two colors would have been our friend, is I'm hoping to find just the bobbin thread. And what we're going to do is try to pull that out of there. Such a short tail. I'm gonna go longer. Let's do it. Hopefully you guys already have your adult beverage. I will wait till I am home. Oops, dang, lost my tail. So, oh, look at that. All right, let's do it the real way. It's the universe's way of telling me to smarten up. Smarten up, fly straight. I'm gonna do, I did bring a spare bobbin, so. And it's black. I can see just a little bit of extra in here. So, for those of you who don't enjoy the monkeying around, as I said, Tyler will edit these, put them up on YouTube. I watched through one the other day. It was fabulous. All the long, drawn out wait and sew stuff, he had that speeded right up. What should have taken 10 or 15 minutes only took a couple. The explanation only took a couple minutes, but the actual stitch time takes longer. All right, so let's see if that'll pull up that black bobbin thread. Ooh, come on, I might have, did seem to be a little short when I put it, but let's see. Well, that feels like it. There we go. Never panic. Do you remember that commercial from a long time ago and they always said, never let them see you sweat? Well, certainly don't let your machine know that you might be struggling with its performance. There we go. It's hard to believe that that needle is clearing that crazy blade. And remember, straight off the back, you don't want that to pull out. I'm going to give a good yank so I have an extra long tail there. So interestingly enough, one of these pieces is no longer necessary. So you could put a stabilizer in place here. And see, I've got that black bobbin thread here on the back, a little easier to see. And we're just going to gently pull that out and see if this works for me. It's a bit tricky. So see how that released? So I'm not going to tempt fate. I'm going to pop this over. I'm not going to pull them apart just yet. I'm going to put back on that open toe foot. I'm going to tell the machine because it'll be happier. And we all want a happier sewing machine, don't we? Be sure you tell it that you have the 20D on. Always be sure to engage the D mechanism. And so this is the side I'm going to keep. You can see that that fringe stitch is just hanging on both sides, just barely. So what are we going to do? We're going to use one of those flat-edged decorative stitches that we had out earlier. And we're going to use it again. Or maybe a new one, because you know, there's so many to choose from. Takes Anne all darn day to come back from picking. But, you know, you always have the option of coming back later. So many pretty stitches to choose from. Ooh, let's go a bit crazy with that one. So I've kind of got this, reminds me a bit of the Art Nouveau movement. All right, so I'm going to set the toe of my foot here. The straight line of that stitch is just going to hit the top of that fringe. And what we're going to do is use the machine to anchor. So that straight stitch is just catching the top edge of that fringe, because we have to put it down somehow. We have to anchor it for all eternity or it will pull out. And as I said a little bit earlier, this piece on the left is not staying in the final project. It's just part of the, and I don't know if you saw, but I accidentally caught that tail. So I'm going to just call this part finished because I have to back that up. But you know. Alrighty, there we go. So I'll show you what's going to happen here. We're going to hang on to this side. We're going to gently pull that off that side. Some people are brave and they'll pull that off and then stitch, but you could see how that stayed down a little firmer. And so I might not have, I could make a more full fringe by using a tighter satin stitch. But isn't that a nifty little stitch? Has a lot of movement. I'll show you on the screen what it looks like, because sometimes they don't look the same. So it kind of looks like a half of a firework. I thought it was kind of funky. Anyway, the straight stitch on the left hand of that stitch, just like these, it's holding that edge down so it doesn't leave. Because after we pulled that away, you could see these would just fall out now. But these are anchored in by that decorative stitch. So something to keep in mind. I've also done something similar in some of my appliques, where this was the fringe on a scarf on an applique. I would do a little bit of loose fringe. So in my typically very flat applique, I've given myself a little 3D boost by adding in a little bit of fringe. So there you go, some new and interesting ways. I'm back. Just some new and interesting ways to use a foot that perhaps isn't seeing the light of day as it used to when tailor tacks were the big thing and we made a lot of clothing. But a lot of us these days are doing more art, more sewing, quilt art, maybe fiber art, wall hangings, decorating clothing. So I don't see any questions right now, so it's near that time, you know, it's happy hour somewhere. Even if that's a good stiff shot of tea like our Loanne likes to drink. We tease her a lot. she drinks her tea in a beer mug, great big one. But congratulations, Loanne, you won our weekly door prize. And if you'd like to win again next week, you need to make another purchase. So have a great weekend. Hi, Tyler. How's it going from your end?
It was alright. Had some problems though.
I had a couple problems. Well, if not, we'll re-record and put it up there later.
Okay.
So, you guys take care.